What's up, everyone? Shoebooty Sports coming at you a day later than usual. All the same to us and you. Okay, that doesn't make sense. But either way, we're back at you this week. This is your host, Graham Powell, co-host over there, Bradley Brown. Say what's up, Brad.
What's happening?
SEC men's tournament, conference basketball tournaments underway, NFL free agency, SEC women's tournament over the weekend. I saw none of it. We'll get to that in a little bit. Quick shout out to our sponsor. Shoebooty Sports is presented by Rhino Races. Rhino Races is a virtual race series that offers 5 different races: a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, a marathon, and the Rhino Ultra. You can sign up for one or all 5 of their races at rhinoraces.com. Run your race at your convenience, track it with your fitness app of choice, screenshot your results as proof of completion, submit that screenshot to rhinoraces.com under the submit results section. Once your results are verified by Rhino Races staff, your award will be shipped to you by mail. Also, check out their gear section for t-shirts, wristbands, decals, and more. That's rhinoraces.com. Rhino Races is the premier virtual running series, and you can find us, Shoe Booty Sports, on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow us on X at Shoe Booty Sports. So there were a lot of what I talked about last week, the kind of the big three conferences in the NCAA women's tournament. I didn't even see who won the Pac-12. I know the Iowa women three-peated, and South Carolina had a very interesting win over LSU. I saw none of
Okay.
this. My TV went out Friday night, and it's had issues really since a week after I bought it, and I won't get into why those issues came or happened. It was a good TV until I just yeah, something happened to the TV and it really hasn't worked right ever since. I'll just put it that way. But it had a good 7, 8 year run, whatever it's been. And Friday night, the screen, I was just watching TV and then the screen just went black. In fact, I was watching the Iowa women's game. I was trying to watch the replay. Actually, I had to go to bed early Friday night. So it was the fourth quarter. It was the fourth quarter. I think it was Michigan they were playing, and they were dominating. And then all of a sudden, the screen just goes black. I can hear the sound and everything, but the screen just goes black. Try turning it off. Try everything in the world. Unplugging it. Nothing worked. YouTubed everything. Turns out it's just what's weird is the Blu-ray portion of it works or did, but that one doesn't. None of the streaming stuff did. It was weird. I don't know, but I took it as a sign of okay, it's time to get a new TV, and TVs are like the one thing in this country right now that are relatively cheap. So I just went and got a new one, got it hooked up Monday. Didn't actually turn the thing on really until last night. But yeah, I've got a brand new TV now, 65 inches, all that. And yeah, so I can actually watch basketball now. Long story short, or long story
Yeah. Jeez.
to summarize, I saw no basketball. I saw no TV over the weekend. So I missed Iowa three-peating. I missed the South Carolina beating LSU, and then I wouldn't call it a fight, but a scuffle, maybe. I don't know.
Skirmish. Yeah.
Skirmish, sure. At the end of the game. And yeah, and I don't even know who won the Pac-12 women's tournament. Didn't even check to look, but lots of good basketball. How much of it did you see? Let's
Like I said,
just
if it makes you feel
your
any better,
analysis.
I didn't get to watch any of it either. Uh,
We knew that. We knew you don't
well,
you don't watch
I
the.
was gonna watch Sunday, but I wasn't aware that it came on that early. So
How early was it?
I don't know. I think it started at 11.
Yeah, I know the Arkansas men play pretty early tomorrow. What, 2:30? Well, I mean it's not 11 a.m., but for a weekday,
Yeah.
early I suppose. But yeah, I probably would have gotten up. I mean, I had a 2 mile race in Conway on Saturday, and I hadn't had a 2 mile race since high school track. So it was weird actually getting there and then being done in 14 minutes and being like, oh, I go home now. Like this is weird. I'm used to being out here for a couple hours. So I would have been able to see all the games, just couldn't. So instead, I went and mowed my friend's yard, and yeah, and yeah, it was just a weekend of no television or sports, just social media telling me who won. I would have the Iowa women beat Nebraska, who they played each other very close in pretty much every game they played this season. Nebraska, one of the last teams to beat Iowa, and Iowa got them an OT, and yeah, three-peat for the Iowa women. So it looks like they're looking like a number one seed going into the women's tournament. At worst, a two, but I think that's enough in the Big Ten for Iowa to claim a one seed in the NCAA women's tournament. South Carolina had a scare against Tennessee. I did.
Yeah,
Okay,
I did.
this is when the TV started to go out. This here, it was. I was tuning in because I was like, Tennessee's going to, they're going to beat them,
Yeah.
and then the TV went black with, it was South Carolina's possession and Tennessee was up by two or three, and it was South Carolina's possession. I guess they were up two. Yeah, because then South Carolina hit that three. I thought I was like, Tennessee's going to win it. And then I left and I went to a Mexican restaurant and I saw the score and I was like, oh my gosh, Tennessee beat them. Or excuse me, South Carolina beat them. So yeah, missed that. So it's right as they had that timeout, that's when the TV went black. And yeah, it's,
Talk about a TV timeout.
yeah. Do we have one of those on here on the sound bar? I'd have to look
I
for it.
think
But
we
yeah,
do. I think we do.
yeah. We won't. I won't take too much time to look for that. Come up with a joke next week, and then I'll try to be prepared next time. That was a good one, though. Yeah, talk about a serious TV timeout that lasted the whole weekend, and yeah. But I did see the last few minutes of the South Carolina LSU game. I would have loved to have seen that game, and it was a good game. South Carolina's better than LSU, but not by much. And if South Carolina's shown they can have an off game from time to time. And like when they lost to Iowa last year at the Final Four, Iowa had a perfect game plan. They had a perfect game plan. Clark had a hell of a game. And yeah, South Carolina just couldn't adjust. They just couldn't adjust to it and do enough to overcome a team that they were better than. But in a one and done tourney, you never know what's going to happen. And same in the SEC tournament, same in the NCAA tournament. Yeah, I thought South Carolina was beat in the semis, and yeah, found a way to get it done with the big girl, post player that is, and yeah, a bank three, and then it was the same girl that shoved the LSU player, right?
I think so. Wasn't that her first three-point attempt of the season?
Probably. I mean,
Yeah.
and drilled it. So I I'm sure she didn't call glass, but hey, it went in.
Hey. Yeah.
It went in. That's all that matters. South Carolina's still undefeated. They're the SEC champions. They'll be the overall number one seed. LSU, I imagine, would be a two seed. I would think they would be a two seed going into the NCAA tournament. Uh, Whoever the Pac-12 champion probably, and I don't know the other. I just
Yeah.
really Iowa is all I've really kept up with, just like consistently, and South Carolina. Like South Carolina has a. I haven't watched a full game of theirs, but they have players I like. Malaysia Full Wiley, the freshman, very sensational basketball player. Um, Juju Watkins from USC. Everybody talks about her, but yeah, Malaysia Full Wiley is a player too. So, and South Carolina just has the best team. So I would say they're definitely the favorite going into the tournament. Let I like. I wasn't sure really what I thought of Dawn Staley, other than just respect the fact that she's a successful AF and has turned South Carolina into the program, because it was UConn forever, you know,
Yeah.
and it's South Carolina. South Carolina is that team. So she's clearly doing something right. I didn't like a lot of the comments she made, like in the postseason tournament last year, especially following the loss to Iowa, and just kind of some of the comments she made. I thought it was came off as sore loserish, and but the way she handled I guess the post game interview, talking about the skirmish and all that, loved it. Like, just apologize, being like, "That's not us," and I mean, she's clearly just a leader, a clear leader amongst that crew, and that's probably not going to happen again on her watch. And Kim Mulkey handled it the complete opposite. She went the complete other direction
Yeah.
and just kind of throwing gasoline on the fire. And that's kind of, I don't know. I'm not surprised she did it, just seeing how she's been in interviews and things like that. I had it when she was at Baylor. I didn't talk to her or anything like that, but she came to Little Rock Hall because there were two really good players, Tyler Scafey and Jessica Jackson from Jacksonville, playing against each other in the same game. Uh, Both actually went on to play at Arkansas. Uh, Tyler Scafey, she actually committed to Rutgers and went there, but later transferred to Arkansas, I believe. Jessica Jackson, one of the best players probably Arkansas has ever had, but she was there to recruit both of those. And I walked by her in there's like a hallway where the players go, where the locker rooms are at Little Rock Hall, Cirques Arena, maybe. It's been a while since I've been a reporter, but these were the Bobby Portis days too. He was also playing that night. So a lot of really good, a lot of talent there, in Cirques Arena in Little Rock that night. However many years ago it was, probably 7, 8 years ago at this point, maybe more. But yeah, she walked by me in the hallway, and she just kind of had this like scowl on her face. I mean, she just a very almost disappointed, and I believe she had a green jacket on for Baylor, and she just had this kind of scowl and looking down as she walked by, just kind of a stomping away, and almost like both recruits said no to her or something like that. I don't know. Not saying that happened, but that's my memory of seeing Kim Mulkey in the locker room area of Cirques Arena in Little Rock. But yeah, she made the comment, "I'd like to see her do that to Angel Reese," or whatever it was, and my first thought was, Angel Reese doesn't want that smoke." I mean, that's a
No,
yeah,
would have ended up the same way. Yeah.
yeah, would have ended up the exact same way. Um, but I don't know about that. She probably wouldn't have fallen quite as easy, because that was a very tiny player, at least compared to the South Carolina post player. But that was my thought. I was like, Angel Reese don't want any of that smoke. I mean, that's the biggest gal in college basketball. Like, she'll win that she'll win that battle, whatever it is. But it was, I don't know, it was just kind of a dumb thing to say, I thought.
Yeah.
Did you see
Would
it?
agree with
Like,
you on that one. Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't see it live. I just seen the highlights, and of course, probably 60 seconds after it happened, it was all over social media. So
Yeah, it was, I mean, I kind of part of me kind of likes it in a sense that it's becoming a bit of a heated rivalry, as you would think it would be, two teams of that caliber. But I don't know. I still didn't like the. I don't know. It's content, gives us stuff to talk about, but it's not how I would have handled it if I were Kim Mulkey. But anyway,
see the ref just hightail it out of there.
no, I didn't. I saw where they got on the monitor and said, "All right, basically the whole bench is out of here. We're going to finish 5-on-5 after everybody's ejected and all that." So, yeah, didn't get to see any of that, but just I did see that part. Watch whatever I could highlights wise on social media. But yeah, I would say South Carolina's the favorite. Men's conference tournaments underway now. The conference tournaments, man, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot
Yeah.
of fun, men and women. Like, I covered I mentioned this before. I covered the SEC women's tournament in 2014, 15, when it was at what's now Simmons Bank Arena in Little Rock. It was Verizon then. But man, that was a lot of fun. Just sitting there watching just quality basketball, and that was when South Carolina was like coming into like being the best team in the nation. I mean, I got to see that courtside. That was pretty neat. But the men's tournaments are always pretty exciting, especially in the SEC. In the SEC, it's not uncommon to see one of these lower seeded teams. Not saying Arkansas is going to do this, but to see one of these lower seeded teams that start playing on Thursday get hot and then start winning and then eventually get to the Sunday game. It's not unheard of. I believe Georgia did it one year when they played Arkansas in the SEC championship game. Yeah, we had come back from Tunica, and Georgia was one of the lower seeded teams, and was like that. I mean, started playing on like Thursday, and then just kept winning, stayed hot up until the very end. You never really know what can happen in a conference tournament. In the 90s, when Arkansas was dominant, we're talking about the men now, by the way. When Arkansas was dominant in the 90s, and we're winning the regular season SEC championships, still couldn't win the conference tournament. And to this day, they've only had one. They've only won one conference tournament in 2000. So Kentucky has won a lot of them. I don't even know how many it is now. Maybe it's in the 30s at this point. It's a lot.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah. But I could see four teams, four different teams winning the SEC tournament on the men's side.
Yeah.
I guess I
Seed
would
1
say
through 4.
yeah. I mean, I guess I would say Tennessee.
Auburn, not so much, but yeah, I could see Tennessee or Kentucky, definitely. Maybe Alabama. Auburn's just not had an answer for those three throughout the regular season. So I really don't expect Auburn to win it.
No, that wouldn't be my choice. I would pick Tennessee, but I wouldn't be surprised if Alabama found a way, or because
They've
Alabama
won it
matches
what,
up well with Kentucky. So
2 out of the last 3 years. So won it in 21 and 23.
who, Alabama?
Yeah.
That was the thing. I couldn't remember who won it last year. Yeah, I mean, you never know what can happen. Conference tournament's always fun. So that I got to see the end of the first half and the second half of the Arkansas game, Arkansas and Vanderbilt. I went for a run tonight, so I went for a run in the first half into halftime and got back with 10 minutes to play, and it was fairly close. Arkansas was trailing, but I mean, Arkansas, I mean, I'm not really paying attention. I just expect something to go bad. And, I just expect the eventual downfall. So I just go in the kitchen. I know we're doing this podcast. So I go in the kitchen, I make something to eat, and I just kind of have my eye on the TV in the background, see that we're winning toward the end of the game. And, and then at the end of regulation, I'm like, okay, I was like, okay, we should win this. And then sure
Then
enough,
inbound pass.
yeah, bad inbound pass. Can't handle the press for anything, or the press defense, Arkansas, that is. And yeah, and Vanderbilt ties it, goes into overtime, and I was just like, figures. But to Arkansas's credit, I mean, they got it done in overtime, so they get to continue on. They get to play tomorrow, and
come back, what, down 15, I think is what the highest
14.
most they were down.
Well,
It was
yeah,
15.
maybe. Yeah, they were down 14 at the half, I believe. What it was.
I think that's something like the second or third time they've come back from that margin in like since the 50s, which is believable.
at least something good's going on. But that's probably the last Arkansas basketball game I'm going to see this season. I don't anticipate them beating South Carolina tomorrow, and I'll be at work during that, so I won't get to see it anyway. And I don't even know that I'll like check for updates. I think I'll just look at the score later and just and I'll probably be like, yeah, that went about like I thought it would. Like that's how I expect it to go tomorrow, because
Yeah,
South Carolina is a much better team than Vanderbilt, and you just squeaked by a Vanderbilt team that all the games with them have been competitive this year because they're just both not very good teams, and they're going to play a much better team tomorrow at 2:30. Arkansas, that is, against South Carolina. So, did you watch any of the post game interview with Muss and Tremont Mark?
yeah, I watched a little bit of it. Mark didn't smile or anything, and I don't think he neither did Muss. So
Well, Tremont Mark he just came off as a shy kid just having to do an interview. Like it's probably maybe what I would have done at that age. I don't know, or I would have been the complete opposite because I like to
probably
sit up
complete
here with a
opposite.
mic. Yeah, I was like, I like to sit up
Like,
here
I
with a
like to sit up
microphone
here.
in my face. So I could see myself being the complete opposite of that. But hearing Muss break down what they were doing tonight wore me out. So yeah, we're gonna get back to the hotel. We're gonna do have a couple of film sessions. We're gonna do a walkthrough, have a couple film sessions, and I'm just thinking like, how long is this gonna take? Like by the time you get to the hotel and do all that, it's gonna be a late night. But you do have a 2:30 game tomorrow. It's not like you got to get up super early, although they'll still probably get up at I don't know what, have team meeting, breakfast at 8 o'clock, and then get ready to go to shoot around.
I would imagine so.
Yeah, it's gonna be a busy night for the Hogs. So I mean, they're where is it? Nashville.
Yeah, it's in Nashville.
Okay,
You
yeah,
can tell there's a pretty big Vandy crowd there. So
yeah, and I mean Vanderbilt did play a lot better at home this season, so that's pretty. I mean, well, that's essentially a home game. I mean, you're same city,
yeah,
so yeah, makes sense. But you give Arkansas what chances do you give them tomorrow against South Carolina on out of 100 percentile?
uh, 1 in 10 chance, 10% chance. I don't know, maybe 20. I think they could beat them 2 times out of 10.
They played them, or when they played them, they weren't the same team. Arkansas, that is, but South Carolina has gotten a lot better too. So I'll give Arkansas like a 15% chance. But here's what I think will happen. I'll check the score when I clock out tomorrow, and then just I'll look and be like, yeah, it probably went about like I thought it would. That's probably what I'll end up doing. I hope not. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah,
I just don't see it happening.
it'd be
But at
great.
least,
But yeah,
yeah, at least I got to see Arkansas win a game, and the last time I'm going to get to see them play this season, most likely.
hey, we're
So
back to 500 on the season, all right? So
we are, and but yeah, we'll see how tomorrow goes. And
yeah,
but it's been a long year for Razorback basketball, and I lost interest a long time ago, unfortunately. And I'm not a fair weather fan by any means. I'm not saying I haven't stopped being a fan, but why would I tune into what they've done this year and just stress myself out even more than I already am on a daily basis? Like why am I going to do that to myself?
I ask myself that every time I watch them. So
Yeah, I pretty much did that at the end of regulation tonight. I was like, yeah, here we go. Like it's almost gotten comical though. Like I don't get like bothered over it anymore.
nah,
People that are still like if you determine your day based on how your sports team does, especially if you're a Razorback fan, I just feel sorry for you. You're gonna have a
yeah,
pretty rough life.
you're gonna have a bad time. Yeah,
Yeah, so get some priorities as far as like what you can focus on, things you can control. If you have no control over it, do not lose sleep over it.
nope.
Lots of over it's in that sentence, and by lots too, I guess. But all right, so did we pick? Yeah, did we pick who we thought would win the SEC men's tournament? I went with Tennessee. I think.
Yeah. I would go with Tennessee. They're the favorite. Of course, Kentucky beat them at home on Saturday, so I'm still picking Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm still gonna go with Tennessee. That's a hard team to beat multiple times at all. Just but especially back to back. We'll see what, but you never know. It's a very safe pick by both of us. None of us went out on a limb there,
No.
but yeah, still going to be my pick there. All right, so uh, last night a lot of the smaller conference tourneys had their finals, for their conference tournament. I saw Arkansas State play James Madison, I believe, in the Sun Belt Championship. James Madison, a much better team based on the score of the game and the records of the two. So James Madison punches their ticket along with several others. So those small conference tournaments look like a lot of fun. Like it looks like it would be a lot of fun to be at, especially the championship game, because the only way you're getting in the tournament is if you win your conference tournament. Like that's it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot at stake. And so when your team does it, especially if you don't do it often, I mean, they storm the court all the time. And it's cool video, looks like a fun atmosphere. And yeah, like I was at Purple Onion and Cabot. Well, it wasn't last night, it was 2 nights ago. So I guess it was Monday night. I guess it was Monday night that all started. And got to see a lot of the games there just in I don't know, pretty fun environment, time of year to watch those smaller conference tournaments, not necessarily just in the NCAA. Now, of course, that's very exciting, but yeah, the conference tournaments for the smaller schools are pretty fun too. Okay, do we want to get off on NFL free agency, or do you want to give us a golf update? What's going on in the golf world? Golf time with Brad, maybe.
Golf time with Brad. Yeah. Well, Scotty Scheffler won the Arnold Palmer Invitational over the weekend out of Bay Hill for the second straight year. Pretty big thing for him. He made 16 of 16 putts inside 15 feet on Sunday, which is insane if you think about it.
That's batting a
Um,
thousand.
yeah. But this weekend, big tournament, Players Championship out at TPC Sawgrass down in Florida.
Did you say
Scotty
saltgrass?
Sawgrass.
Saw?
Saw.
Okay, I'm going to Saltgrass Friday for my birthday
Okay. Oh,
from work,
okay.
which was in
Well, that should be.
October. Which was in October. So, but we never went in October. So, boss was like, "Hey, we never celebrated your birthday." I was like, "Yeah, thanks, boss." Um,
Better late than never.
yeah, I wasn't mad about it. I was like, "Okay, yeah, all right, all good, Terry." So, anyway, continue. So, that's
Uh,
had Saltgrass on
Scotty
my mind.
Scotty Scheffler won last year's Players Championship. Um, he'll try to go back to back. There has not been a back to back winner at TPC Sawgrass ever. In fact, defending champs have the best they can do. Actually, none of them have come in the top five, finished in the top five in the last 23 years, I think. So, but another update on TPC Sawgrass players. Tiger's not playing for some reason. No idea why, but
Because he's hurt. He's always hurt. Like, what do you mean you don't know why? Tiger's always hurt. He's been hurt. He's like a mummy at this point. Like that's how much
hey,
bandage he needs.
yeah,
I'm
I
and
did see something today.
I love Tiger Woods. Like I'm not hating. I'm just saying, you know why? He's hurt.
Scotty's the world number one golfer right now in points. He's been leading for I think the last 70 some odd weeks. If he ever wanted to break Tiger Woods' streak of number one, he would have to hold number one until like October 2035. So
That's a long way.
that's a long one, long time. So
Yeah. That's a long way off. Um
yeah, players gets kicked off tomorrow. So
I thought
should
70
be some
something
good TV over the
weeks.
weekend.
I thought 70 something weeks was a lot. Apparently
Yeah,
not.
it is. It is.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
then you got that guy Tiger Woods.
Yeah, and there's him. I was hoping you'd say TPC Sawgrass one more time.
TPC Sawgrass.
Yeah, so that's just fun to say. It's a fun thing to say.
Yeah.
What's the TPC
Famous for the
stand for?
Island Green uh Tour Pro course.
Are you Googling it or did you just
No,
did a
think
light
that's
bulb
what it
go on?
I think that's what it means.
Yeah, I was thinking the tea was like tropical or something. 'Cause you said a little island thing, so
Yeah.
but you're probably right. All right, what else is going
Yeah.
on in the golf world, Brad? Or is that it?
I believe that's it. I mean, other than AJ or Anthony Kim and Liv, it turned out that he wasn't a one and done the other weekend in the tournament for the Liv, but he's going to play out the rest of the season. That's a wild card, I believe. So he won't be on the team, but he'll be playing.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I'll be able to sleep better tonight, knowing that he will be playing.
Nobody's going to watch it. It's Live Golf, so
Well, I'm glad he's playing. Like, didn't they get a TV deal though at some point?
yeah, on the CW. Tune in.
We don't even have the CW on YouTube TV, do we?
No,
Is that still like just a basic cable thing?
I think so. Hell, I don't know. You can probably get it on the rabbit ears.
Yeah, probably so. Haven't had one of those in a long time. So yeah, I guess nobody is watching it. Because I say I haven't seen the CW in a long time. Been a long time.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're on some channel, I guess. All right, well, with before we get out of here, we got to talk NFL free agency, right?
Yeah, a lot of
A
stuff's happened.
lot happened. A lot happened. Kirk Cousins to the Falcons, Russ to the Steelers, which of course we said last week is the only thing that makes sense. And it makes sense for both of them. Steelers don't pay
Yeah.
you anything and they get a future Hall of Fame, probably a future Hall of Fame quarterback that's way better than anybody they have.
Yeah.
Like, you could take the three quarterbacks they had on the roster and combine them, and they're not as good as Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson isn't a top 10 quarterback anymore. You know, that's just
Yeah.
how bad the Steelers quarterback room was. So, uh, I'd say I love the move by the Steelers, but we all know that. I mean, it was just that was clearly the one that made the most sense. And Kirk Cousins doesn't surprise me. You knew Atlanta was going to had the room to offer him a lot of money, and Kirk gets paid. I
180
mean,
million.
yeah, over how many years?
Four.
4.
Yeah. 4 years.
Yeah, that's a hell of an agent he's got. They have
Yeah.
made a lot of money together, and but I mean, Kirk Cousins would go for that, even though he's coming off of what an Achilles injury. I mean, the market would
He's won
dictate. I mean, that's what
he's
you go
won
for.
what, one playoff game in 14 seasons or something? I mean,
Yeah, he's got really good regular season numbers though when
yeah.
he's healthy, and he's never had a health issue up until just last year. It was just, I mean, it was an Achilles injury. So what can you do? The okay, other one, Saquon to the Eagles. Love that. By the way, for
Oh
him.
yeah.
Yeah. Of course, you don't have Jason Kelsey anymore, but that's still a pretty good offensive line. Not as dominant as they were 2 years ago, but still way better than what he had with the Giants, which is just a dumpster fire at this point. The New
Yeah.
York Giants. Good for him for getting out of there. Now, the end of the season for the Eagles last year was a dumpster fire, a full on dumpster fire, but still, it's a better team, better organization, and they are at least trying. The Giants, I'd say they're trying, but they just don't know what they're doing.
Nah.
Giving Danny Dimes that contract last year, and then not
We all
doing
knew it was
anything to
stupid, yeah.
protect him, and then not doing anything to protect him. So it's your own fault. The front office just needs to fire itself.
Yeah.
For the Giants, Jets probably too, but okay. And Mac Jones to the Jaguars, so he's jumped to career backup pretty quick.
Yeah.
Or I say jumped, more like downgrade a little bit there, a lot of bit.
Yeah. They bring
Uh,
in Jacoby Brissett to take his place at the Patriots. So that'll be interesting.
I actually like that. I actually really
Yeah.
like that. I didn't know that. Didn't know they
Yeah.
had done that. Who is talking with the Browns? Some quarterback.
Jameis Winston, man. He's all but
Okay.
signed. I thought he
Okay.
signed with them, but yeah.
I couldn't remember who it was. But the
Yeah.
the big name that got signed. Well, yeah. At least amongst running backs, Derrick Henry to Baltimore.
That's going to be
Uh,
scary.
love it. Love it. Loved it. Gus Edwards, went to the Chargers. And so how do we replace Gus Edwards? Let's go get Derrick Henry. Uh, yeah, love it. Derrick Henry, future Hall of Famer. I looked up his stats. He's almost at 10,000 yards, has 90 touchdowns.
They're getting for pretty cheap too.
Yeah, I mean, running backs go cheap these days,
Two
unfortunately for
years,
them.
16 mil.
And
Yeah.
that's a good deal for a running back.
Yeah.
I mean, Saquon had something similar, right? And
Uh, yeah, his is like 3 year, I think 11.6 million signing bonus. But yeah, only 1.4 million is guaranteed.
Kirk Cousins getting 4 for 180 mil, and Derrick Henry, a surefire Hall of Famer,
Yeah.
gets what, 14? Wild. That's wild, man.
Baker got paid. I mean, 3 year, 100 million.
Yeah, I
So
didn't don't even know why I didn't think of that. I guess because it happened a little earlier over the
yeah,
weekend. Yeah, yeah, love that deal for Baker. Love it for the Bucks. Makes sense. That's another deal that just made sense. Happy for him. Uh, good move. I mean, Baker, Mike Evans, let's run it back. And there's room to sign more players too. Like it's not a deal like it's the deal of, hey, I know what I'm worth, or this is like it's a realistic deal. Like it's not so much money. Like you're paying way more than he's worth. It's like, no, that makes sense. Okay, so good for them. Patrick Mahomes restructures his deal, uh, giving the Chiefs, freeing up them $21 million to spend, so they're able to re-sign Chris Jones. So Chiefs
hope
are
that
not going
three-peat, man.
anywhere. Yeah,
Nope.
Chiefs aren't going anywhere. And apparently nobody wants Justin Fields, which should say very much to the Bears, go draft Caleb Williams. it's Go draft Caleb Williams. Not a knock on Justin Fields necessarily, just saying I think what we all really know. He's not a guy that's going to be your franchise quarterback for 10 years. Caleb Williams will be, but other teams recognize that too as far as Justin Fields, and that's why nobody's just doing backflips to go sign him. Okay, and we will get out of here on this. Arkansas baseball, the new number one in college baseball. 4 of the top 5 teams are SEC teams, and I've set 7 of the top 10 from the SEC. So Arkansas baseball, the new number one in college baseball. Shout out to them. Woo pig on that. And I'm going to go watch some basketball here since my TV's working. And we'll come back with y'all next week. NCAA tournament stuff. Till then, this is Grandpa.
Brother Brown.
Deuces, y'all.
Peace.